And we are live. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all feeling well. We got a lot to talk about today. I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for being here. Just yesterday, I was on Redacted speaking about this topic in less than 24 hours. That 15-minute segment alone got over 350,000 views. And that was just touching the surface, right? There's the factual information of what's going on with this whole hidden chambers under the pyramids thing that's going on that the whole world is speaking about right now. And then there's the beyond factual information that's still factual. It's just certain things that people may not yet be ready to accept. However, the first step of accepting something is first to be aware of it. Then comes resistance, then comes shock, then comes acceptance over time. And that's my goal, to bring a different perspective to each and every one of you regarding what's truly going on underneath the pyramids and with the pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids all around the world as a whole. As you all know, I came out with a document that was shared with me back in 2020 called the Pyramid Code. That document, when I shared it on September 9th of 2020, everybody called me crazy. They said, Jason, what are you doing? Everybody's going to call you a clown. The whole world is going to laugh at you. And many people did. But what came out just a few days ago in the new revelations pertaining to certain things being found under the pyramid in Giza and the pyramids in Giza on the Giza Plateau itself is now proving everything in that document to be correct. So the name of this live stream, the name of this show, whether you're tuning in live or on the replay, is The Hidden Chamber Under the Pyramids, with a lot of question marks and everything you need to know, because we're going to be covering a lot. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. In the meantime, while we get this show started, I want to ask you all, where are you tuning in from? What city, what state, what country, what town, what village? Wherever it may be. I love seeing where all of you tune in from all around the world, because it brings our community together. And if you find people in your area in the comment section, do your best to connect with them to create community, because it's community that makes this world a better place. Something that they didn't want us to know or be aware of about 4 or 5 years ago during the crazy times in 2020, and something that is more important now than ever. Community brings immunity in all aspects, and don't you ever forget that. With that, before we dive in, number one, I want to ask you all, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure to click that subscribe button and make sure to click that bell to be alerted every time a new video comes out, almost every day on my YouTube channel and every time I go live, because sometimes the algorithm likes stumping me and stifling me. But if you do click that button, you will be notified every single time beyond the emails that I send out and the notifications that I send out on Instagram and on Telegram. With that being said, make sure to follow me on Instagram if you're not already following me on Instagram, at The Real Jason Shurka. And you can also join me on Telegram for free for daily updates. Some really interesting things are shared there, censorship free. My name on Telegram is Jason Yosef Shurka. Yosef spelled Yosef. Jason Yosef Shurka is my handle on Telegram. Make sure to join me there for daily updates. Now, before we officially dive in, this live stream is a really big one for me. And I'll try not to get emotional, but the reason why it's a big one for me is because it's the first time I'm coming on live on my YouTube channel in an official manner like this ever since my dad passed away just a few weeks ago, 20 days ago exactly, on March 5th. Today is March 25th. And when I went through that, and I'm still going through that, and I'll go through that for the rest of my life. But when that happened, it showed me so much of how fragile life is. And that man was my best friend. He taught me everything that I know and made me the person that I am today. And it's my first time speaking about him in this way on a public platform. So I really just want to take this time to honor him. I'm sitting in his office right now in New York, and there isn't a second that goes by that I don't think about him. And he told me many things before he passed away, which was extremely unexpected, but he prepared me the right way. And he asked me to promise him that I would keep moving forward full force with the mission that I'm on and the mission that we're all on because he was so proud of it. And even during the memorial in Judaism, we call it a Shiva. It's 7 days where we sit down and mourn. And I took 2 weeks, but 7 days officially under the tradition. And there were so many people I haven't even met before, people that he worked with, people that he's helped throughout his life that came, and they all said he was so proud of you. And it made me so grateful to be able to be and call him my father, but be his son. So Abba is what I call him. Abba, I know you're here right now, and I know you're tuning into everything that I do all the time. And I just want to say that I love you. And I look forward to continuing to make you proud in everything that I do. And this show and every other show that I do and every other action that I take is dedicated to him. And everything that he taught me with the strength that he portrayed in every aspect of his life, it gave me a new fuel to my fire to keep moving forward. And I truly do look forward to continuing to make him proud. So, Abba, this show and everything else that I do is for you in your honor to continue your legacy. Thank you for raising me to the man that I am today. And let's keep moving forward. So, I just need to breathe for a second because I knew that it would be a little emotional for me. And it's a crazy time, but it's really made me think about everything in life and made me so much stronger because I know that I have some very big shoes to fill. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's what I've done already, but it's about to go to a completely different level and reach brand new heights. So, with that, I want to say thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you guys very much for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the work that I do. Thank you for believing in me. And now it's not just about believing in me because there is proof, and I wish he was here to see it. And I know that he is from somewhere else, but there is proof that is now coming out that literally coincides perfectly with information that was shared in the Pyramid Code document. And that document can be downloaded on my website for free in about 10 different languages at jasonshirka.com. Again, just my name, jasonshirka.com. So we will get started. I want to show two very quick and brief clips about the Pyramid Code and certain things pertaining to pyramids. And we will dive into everything having to do with what is hidden under these chambers beneath the pyramids and everything that you need to know. Now, what sparked all of this is the Pyramid Code document that was actually turned into a series that you can watch right now today on Unified TV, unifyd.tv. You could download the app as well. I just want to show you guys real quick this pretty amazing excerpt. It's like a little teaser from this series that essentially what we did and what I did with this man called Ray, who we don't need to get into right now, but what I did was I interviewed the author of this document and I asked him a lot of questions pertaining to the document itself, turning it into a series called The Pyramid Code. So if you haven't yet watched it, this is a little teaser for what to expect. It's very interesting, and it goes hand in hand with everything that's going on today with the pyramids. It even goes beyond. Now, some of you are going to hear this and read it and say, Jason, you are crazy. And just like certain aspects of the document were proven to be true, all aspects of the document will be proven to be true as well. In when? It could be a year from now, it could be 5 years from now, it could be 20 years from now. But I guarantee you, and I put my life on it, that this is going to come to light at some point. Right here is the excerpt itself for you guys to check out.
This technology made pyramids levitate and fly. Today, it's a hidden secret. Very few evil people have it, and they can do a lot of damage with it. It's basically EMP. But I believe all this information we're talking about, everything we're speaking about, ETs, planets, this information will come out to the masses. But something needs to happen first in this world. But this information will come out. I have a feeling chaos is about to come down. And it's not going to be a pretty sight. Understanding what I wrote in Rays of Light, some of the information there can help you deal with what's coming. You'll have a better understanding of where it's coming from. The codes that were built into Rays of Light can give you the secrets of creation, history of creation, power of creation, history, real history, not the one they're teaching you in school, real history of the universe, not only planet Earth. It will teach you about frequency, vibrational energy, dimensions, fields of dimensions. We can sit here for thousands of years and discuss it.
Now, as you can see, that's just the Pyramid Code Part 4, right? There's Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4, and they go way into depth about what happened back then, what the pharaohs did back then, certain traditions that they held, certain things that they taught. It is absolutely incredible, and it's something that I highly, highly encourage you all to watch on Unified TV. I'm going to be sharing a link in the description below as well for all of you to check out. As a matter of fact, the link is already in the description below for all of you to check out. Now, one more thing before we dive in. This show is sponsored by the Light System, not the organization, but the technology itself. And it's very fitting because the entity called the Light System, with their technology, doesn't just have some incredible technologies with healing benefits and healing capacities, just like the pyramids did themselves and still do, but they also have certain technologies in the shape and direct proportions of the Great Pyramid in Giza itself. So I want to show this to you guys in honor of the Light System. You can learn more at thelightsystems.com, and then we will officially dive right in. Check this out. It is awesome.
Ever wonder why the Light System isn't just another wellness trend? Our flagship product, known as the Pyramid, isn't a design accident. It's actually built with the exact proportions of the Great Pyramid of Giza. That ancient wisdom combined with cutting-edge technology creates something truly remarkable. While the proprietary software already improves energy levels and immunity, the sacred geometry amplifies everything. Users report deeper sleep, clearer thinking, and faster recovery than expected. It's like the difference between regular sound and surround sound. Same input, completely elevated experience. The ancient builders knew something about energy flow that modern science is just rediscovering. The pyramid brings that ancient knowledge into your wellness routine. Not just technology, but technology designed with the universal mathematics that have governed healing for millennia. Learn more at thelightsystems.com.
It's a very, very exciting time to be alive, especially with this technology. You can find this technology and many others on unifiedhealing.com, UNIFYD healing.com. Find a center near you. There are hundreds of wellness centers on the network with some of the world's leading wellness, health and wellness technologies around the world. So make sure to check that out. And the pyramid itself is something that you can look deeper into, along with other technologies provided and distributed exclusively by the Light System at thelightsystems.com. With that, we're going to dive right in. We're going to have a good time today because there is a lot to uncover, a lot to discuss. I do need to give a disclaimer for fact-checking purposes, so bear with me on this one. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Okay, all content is speculative Okay. And not presented as fact. Again, okay. Viewers are encouraged to research and form their own conclusion. That is the part that I genuinely agree with. You're going to hear a lot of crazy things over here, but I ask you, please do not just take it as fact. Don't just accept it and don't just resist it. Look into it, connect the dots, use your own discernment, use your own logic, see where it takes you, because it will take you to incredible heights when you use the beautiful brain that God gave you, coupled with your heart, to connect the dots and understand what the hell is going on, not just with the pyramids, but in our world as a whole. Now let's dive into the pyramids. A lot of information has been coming out with a recent report that's not so recent. It's actually from 2022. However, it's very interesting because it's only coming out now. What took 2-3 years for it to come out? We'll talk about that later. I'll give you my opinions on that one. But today I'm going to share fact, opinion, theory, and something in between of all of those, because it's always fun to do that. Use your own discernment, use your own logic, see where it takes you. The first video I'm going to show you guys on this topic is something you might have seen just being shared on social media as a whole. This is factual information, something for you all to know about, to dive into this topic and make it easy to understand. Here it is.
What were the pyramids in Egypt used for? We've always been taught that they were for tombs for pharaohs, but new research suggests otherwise. A group of researchers used SAR technology. It's a radar technology, so they can see if there's anything underneath the pyramids in Egypt. And what they found is mind-blowing. They found cylindrical structures that go 648 meters deep. Cylinders also have some sort of a coil or a staircase wrapped around them, which leads to the question if they were being used for energy or going somewhere else. Nikola Tesla was obsessed with the pyramids in Egypt, because he believed that the earth has its own energy and that if you tapped into it properly, you could generate energy for free and have a limitless amount. He used this information to patent one of his inventions in 1905, and he called it the art of transmitting electrical energy through the natural medium. It was triangle shaped, and it was known as Tesla's electromagnetic pyramid.
Now, there's something interesting to touch up on before going to the next video here. In this video, the woman, whoever was speaking, represents energy for free, being able to tap into energy for free. And I just want to make it very clear. Energy is free. Tapping into energy is free. You need some structures to do it. The fact that we're charged for it doesn't make it not free. It makes it corrupt. There's a whole different story over there that we'll speak about when it comes to free energy. But I want to share this clip from Graham Hancock that was actually shared by Robert Edward Grant, a good friend of mine. I believe it's Graham Hancock speaking from The Voice, at least. And it's really interesting in terms of what he brings forth. Here is the short excerpt.
The scale of the monument is so huge. This thing is 481 feet high. It has a footprint of 13, slightly more than 13 acres. It weighs 6 million tons. It consists of 2.5 million individual blocks of stone. You're taking that whole gigantic mountain of stone and you are aligning it within just 3/60ths of a single degree of true north. We're not talking about magnetic north, which varies. We're talking about astronomical north, the true north of this planet.
So the north aspect is something we're going to be speaking about from the Pyramid Code as well. But I want you guys to understand something, and some of you may already know this. Do you really think that if they just built tombs, they would have so many mathematical constants built into it for fun? That's something that's very difficult to do. Forget 3,000 years ago. Today, it's difficult to do it. So there's something more to the story that we're not being told. Now, Robert Edward Grant shared this in a description underneath this video that says the following. For centuries, we've been told that the pyramids of Giza were built with primitive tools, wooden ramps, and sheer manpower. But does that really add up? 6 million tons of limestone and granite, 2.5 million precisely to the point of a laser, by the way, cut stones. Alignment within 3/60th of a degree to true north, which, by the way, was probably true north back then and just changed due to the wobble of the earth on its axis. And perfect mathematical ratios encoded in its structure. And now it's buzzing around the web that a scientific research with synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography has revealed previously undiscovered internal structures within the Great Pyramid. Within the Great Pyramid complex, high resolution formations that defy conventional explanations. Even more shocking, Beneath the Khafre pyramid, researchers allegedly have identified massive underground networks and colossal columns extending for 600 plus meters, a discovery that challenges everything we thought we knew about the site. If this is confirmed to be true, it will be a game changer. If the pyramids were just tombs built by laborers with copper chisels, why do we keep uncovering advanced engineering, precise astronomical alignments, and hidden subterranean structures? Maybe it's time to question the official story. Maybe the real history of these monuments is far more extraordinary than we've been led to believe. And I don't think that's just a maybe. I think that's a fact at this point, because as we said yesterday on Redacted, the further you look into the pyramids, the more questions you have rather than answers. And that's absolutely true. Now let's dive into this. I'm going to give you the factual background for you all to understand, and then we'll dive into the interesting sort of metaphysical aspect of this in terms of what the Pyramid Code says beyond what was already confirmed by these recent findings that are not so recent, which we'll speak about. Corrado Malanaga and Filippo Biondi, there are two individuals, I believe they're Italian individuals, that are both involved in radar and remote sensing research. They published peer-reviewed research in an article titled, and this is the title of the article, Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Undiscovered High-Resolution Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. What's interesting is that was actually published in 2022. My question is, why is this information only coming out nearly 3 years later? And there are answers to those questions, which we will discuss throughout today's live stream. What we're talking about is something called SAR data, SAR, which stands for, as you heard, Synthetic Aperture Radar, along with a proprietary software that was created by, I believe, Corrado Malanaga, that transforms the radar signals into something called photonic information. Basically, in short, it tracks vibrations down to the millimeter to identify underground structures without excavation, meaning it's a very non-invasive way of understanding what is underground, quite literally. Now, this was done on the second largest pyramid of the Giza Plateau. It's known as the Khafre Pyramid. Not only did they find 5 identical structures inside of the pyramid itself, but underneath those structures, directly underneath those structures, they found 8 massive cylinders, or at least what looks like cylinders. They were found to be hollow inside, and they were surrounded by what seemed to be stairs on each cylinder. They look like major, massive coils, descending to a depth of exactly 648 meters. Now, that number is very important, because when you add 6, 4, and 8, you get to the number 18. You'll understand why that's important shortly when it comes to understanding more having to do with what the Pyramid Code has to say about the pyramids themselves. Now, these 648-meter cylinders all merge at the very bottom into 2 very large cubic structures that seem to be some sort of basement underneath the pyramid. Now, they could be things that store energy, meaning the pyramid grasps energy, harnesses it. These coils bring them down and they store them down below. They could also be charging certain things within those basements, which I'll speak about later on. What's important to understand over here is each cubic basement is what I call them, measure about 80 meters per side, which is massive. It's almost the length of a football field on each side of that cube in all aspects, height, width, length, and beyond. The entire structure extends about, not exactly, but about 2 kilometers beneath the surface and extends beneath all 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex, which means there is likely certain things underneath not just the Khafre pyramid, but the other 2 as well, including the Great Pyramid. We've been told, and this is important, that the pyramid and the pyramids in general are simply tombs for the pharaohs buried in them, and that they were built using ramps and sledgehammers and, basic things with some sheer manpower, as Robert Edward Grant quoted. But my question is, if that were the case and they were just tombs and there was nothing else to them, why would they then make an effort, especially so many thousands of years ago, to include mathematical constants in the structure such as pi, 3.14, the golden ratio, and the speed of light? And I say the speed of light And some people call this a coincidence, but when it comes to this, there's no way that what I'm about to share is a coincidence. Did you know that the Great Pyramid lies exactly on the latitude line of 29.9792458 degrees? That's 7 decimal points after the zero. That's how precise it is. 29.9792458 degrees. Now, why is that number important? Because this corresponds with 299,792,458 meters per second. And you know what that is? That's the speed of light. The official story doesn't hold up. Do you really think that with everything that we're hearing now about the pyramids and all these advanced forms of engineering, it's just a coincidence that it lies exactly, when it comes to the Great Pyramid, that lies exactly on 29.9792458 degrees north, or 299,792,458 meters per second, which is the exact speed of light to the exact decimal point? Call it a coincidence? I don't think it is. Some people may say, well, the form of measurement with meters wasn't in play back then, and it doesn't make any sense. Again, call it a coincidence, call it what you want. I don't believe it's a coincidence. They knew something that we don't know today. And lastly, Nikola Tesla. He was onto something when he was alive. That's why they tried getting rid of him. That's why they destroyed everything that he's ever created and hoarded it for themselves. And when I say they, I'm talking about the same people that control oil, gas, energy sectors as a whole. Those same people control our financial systems. Those same people essentially control the world. Do you really think that they would want something that they can't meter and charge you for to be free for everybody? Nikola Tesla's work was destroyed by Thomas Edison, J.P. Morgan Chase, J.P. Morgan himself. That family, the Morgan family, did not like Nikola Tesla because he was interfering with their lines going on all around the world for them to move electricity instead of doing it wirelessly. This is something that we need to be aware of. Now, he believed that the pyramids were energy generators for what they call free energy technology. All energy is free. The fact that we're charged for it is a whole corruption of itself. But yes, if they can harness energy using the structure of the pyramid, which everything is showing now that they can, that is proving what Nikola Tesla was doing to be correct. He actually patented some of these technologies that he built, as you heard in one of the first videos that I played. Now, before diving into the pyramid code, I want to show a video that is about 4 minutes. It's a very powerful video from the Reese Report, and it breaks down everything that I just said beautifully. Check this out.
Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, involved in radar and remote sensing research with the University of Strathclyde, published peer-reviewed research in 2022 via MDPI entitled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Undiscovered High-Resolution Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research was conducted using SAR data, synthetic aperture radar, along with proprietary software developed by Filippo Biondi that transforms the radar signals into phononic information, which allows for the detection of millimetric vibrations. This cutting-edge technology is capable of revealing underground structures invisible to traditional methods and revealed internal structures never seen before. Having established their expertise in using SAR to explore pyramid structures non-invasively, a recent press release on their current project was released last Saturday. This March 15th press release summarized the key findings in the team's research of the second largest pyramid of the Giza Plateau, known as the Khafre Pyramid, and what they found was astonishing. The analysis of dozens of tomographic SAR images obtained from different angles enabled the 3D reconstruction of inside the pyramid of Khafre and deep beneath the surface of the plateau. Near the base of the pyramid, 5 identical structures are seen, connected by geometric pathways. Inside each of these are 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. Below these 5 structures are 8 cylindrical structures, which appear to be vertical wells, hollow inside, and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. These 8 vertically aligned cylindrical structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they all merge into 2 large cubic structures, measuring approximately 80 meters per side. The entire structure extends approximately 2 kilometers beneath the surface and extends beneath all 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Mainstream Egyptology tells us that the Giza pyramids were tombs for pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, and that they were built around 2500 BC using ramps, sledges, and levers. But the redundant mathematics in their construction, which include pi, the golden ratio, and the speed of light, along with the testimony of today's expert architects, suggests that the official story does not hold up. The massive underground structure revealed by the recent SAR data shows what appears to be a mechanical or functional system, and this has been hypothesized in the past. Nikola Tesla believed that the pyramids could harness Earth's natural frequencies. This arguably inspired his experiments in wireless energy transmission and scalar waves. In the Giza power plant, Christopher Dunn argued that the Great Pyramid was a power-generating machine using resonant and acoustic forces to convert mechanical stress into electricity. In the Giza Death Star, Joseph Farrell proposed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a weapon of mass destruction using a type of physics that he calls paleophysics to focus energy as a scalar weapon. The cylindrical wells could be conduits for energy or sound waves, and the cubic structures might serve as energy storage or stabilization units, akin to components in a large-scale weapon or generator. And the detection of vibrations in the pyramid's internal structures reflects all of these ideas. The Khafre project hopes to plan an excavation in order to discover more about this underground structure, but history shows that this will be very difficult to get approval for. Greg Reese reporting.
That's a very comprehensive report. I do suggest watching this video multiple times. And while we're at it, I ask you guys, whoever you know, share this with them because it may change the way that they see something. Even if they call you crazy, people called me crazy many times. But the truth will always prevail. And that's something that we need to remember. Now, one thing I want to bring up before diving into the Pyramid Code document to show you the actual proof of what's happening today and what was said 5 years ago when I was given that, when everybody called me crazy. And it has to do with this idea of how you can actually move stones of such magnitude, because these are more than stones. They're like mini mountains in terms of the size of some of these stones. Our modern day cranes cannot pick up the level of weight that we're talking about, that we're seeing in multiple places in several parts of the pyramid itself. And yet they were able to do it back then with so-called manpower. But there's another way to be able to do that. And that has to do with frequency, energy, and sound. Now, a lot of you probably looking and saying, what the hell? How is something like that possible? Well, you guys know, because we've seen it on video before, you can actually break a glass with a specific frequency, with a pitch. Some people can do it with their voice. And that's because when you match a specific frequency, for example, if a frequency of a glass is 100 hertz, let's just say, for argument's sake, and I can match that 100 hertz, the glass has nothing holding it together, it will shatter. Now, the same thing happens in health and wellness with tumors. When you have a tumor and you can find its specific frequency, this is what Dr. Royal Raymond Rife based his work on before they completely seized and so-called destroyed it. I think they just seized and hoarded it. I don't think they destroyed something like that. That technology is still alive today, but it's being hidden from us to the degree of what he actually built it at. Now, with that being said, he was able to actually find the frequency of specific tumors and dissolve them, disintegrate them through shooting specific frequencies in a directed way without harmful effects or side effects. It's all based on energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, this video right here shows you how it actually works. What you're seeing here is certain frequencies, and this is a real video, specific frequencies being used to make certain stones of different weights levitate. And when you do something like that, you can actually move it. Universities did studies on things like this. Moving objects with sound and frequency, sometimes sounds that you can't even hear, that are not in the spectrum of what human beings can hear. But I want you to look at this because this is that in action. Now imagine that on a much, much larger degree. We're already seeing that the pharaohs back then had certain technologies that we're obviously not aware of today. And I know that our textbooks tell us that we're more advanced today than we were back then, but I don't buy it because look at what they built. Look at how they built it. Look at how this whole thing works. It's incredible in terms of how it works. And we're seeing it with our own very eyes. So that's one of the ways that they were able to move it, not with water and stones and sledges and things like that and manpower, but with energy. You see it built through the structure itself. They had a knowledge on mathematics and mathematical constants that we can barely comprehend today in terms of how they knew that back then. Now, with that, we're going to dive into the pyramid code itself. And I'm going to share with all of you some direct quotes and some direct paragraphs that we will read together for all of you to see. I actually went out of my way to highlight some of this to show you what it is that we're talking about here. Now, what you're seeing right over here is page 24 and 25 of the pyramid code. And you could read the whole thing, but the highlighted sections are important. The pharaohs brought with them a different form of technology called electromagnetic pulsation, or EMP for short, and electromagnetic laser pulsation, or EMLP for short. This technology gave them the ability to build massive pyramids. Underneath these massive structures are very large basements that house the tools and technology used to make them. I'm going to say that again. Underneath these massive structures are very large basements. That's the cubes that you guys saw underneath those coils that house the tools and technology used to make them. To my knowledge, no one has found the hidden basements under the pyramids just yet, but I am sure that they are still there. And indeed, 5 years later, we found out that they are. There are huge energetic tools that need to be recharged by the sun every 1,000 years in order to function. There are no batteries. These machines work primarily through the use of the sun along with magnets. Now pay attention. With those coils going down to those really, really big boxes, those could be charging stations for all we know. We won't know until we get down there. And even if we get down there, who knows if they're actually going to share the truth with us. I, for one, do not believe they will, but we could talk about that later. And it closes over here by saying, I believe that in the not too distant future, in this case, 5 years later, the right people will rise who will find the treasure that lies beneath the pyramids. Now, again, I can understand why people read this and they're like, Jason, what the hell are you talking about? If this existed, then we would have known about it already. And hey, look what just happened. Some new revelation of the pyramids just came out that we didn't know about, or at least they didn't tell us about. And we are now learning more about it. There are new things coming out all the time. Now, from the factual side of things, which we just shared, I want to dive into I'm not going to call it non-factual, because to me it's a fact. I'm going to call it something that hasn't yet been proven, but something that is worth to consider. Now, what I'm going to share is quite long. I'm going to read it out loud. You can close your eyes. You could be with me. You can read it along. You could take a screenshot, or you can download the document yourself for free on my website, jasonshirka.com. Now, right over here is a really, really important segment from the Pyramid Code called Structure of the Pyramid on page 30. I'm going to read it somewhat fast for all of you to follow. It says the following because these are very important aspects to be aware of when it comes to understanding beyond the mathematical constants, certain things that we're not yet aware of that people should know about, but I'm sure not the entire world will accept it just yet until we start learning more about these things. So it says the following. The pyramid consists of 4 equilateral triangular surfaces. Each triangle has 3 equal sides and 3 vertices where the points meet. The inner surface within each of the triangles is known as the divine surface. Now, keep in mind, this was originally written in Hebrew with certain codes. This is just a translation. God resides, and this is not in a religious aspect, this is the way that they saw it back then. God resides within each of the triangles, divine surfaces, and is an integral part of the pyramid. The four equilateral surfaces on the pyramid allow us to understand that each pyramid has four visible divine surfaces, projecting from the exterior of the pyramid into the universe, as well as four internal divine surfaces radiating into the pyramid, so both sides of those walls. The base of the pyramid is the basic divine surface that consists of a square with four vertices where the points meet. The square radiates its energy through its surface, both internal and external, as well as its four vertices to the apex at the top of the pyramid, which is the point. Each vertex or point at the base of the pyramid faces a different direction: north, south, east, and west. And keep in mind, even what Graham Hancock said, all the pyramids that they're finding on Earth today are all facing north, which means all the other points are facing south, east, and west. Each wall or divine surface of the pyramid also faces a different direction, north, south, east, and west. Each vertex at the base of the pyramid provides energy for the living, human and animals, the plant life, the inanimate, and the spirit, because this is how they saw it back then. All of these vertices as one radiate and absorb the divine energy from the apex at the top of the pyramid. The apex is always connected by laser or solar radiation to the original divine energy, otherwise known as source. That's the apex with those lasers that you see in certain graphics where people are like, did it really work like that? Did it not work like that? This document says it did. On all of the divine surfaces and all of the vertices, energy radiates and absorbs the divine energy simultaneously. The pyramid both projects and receives energy. The pyramid transmits through its divine surfaces the divine energy that radiates outward, but also inward through its internal divine surfaces. The divine surface at the base of the pyramid radiates energy into the pyramid upwards to the apex, towards the spirit, and downward into the earth, towards the physical, meaning it's connecting the physical and the material. When the pyramid rises and flies, and this is the crazy part, I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but take it or leave it, read the document. When the pyramid rises and flies as it did in the ancient days, one light could be seen coming out of the apex and four from the vertices on the base towards the north, south, east, and west. There were 12 lights at the bottom of the base surface in the shape of a circle that could only be seen when flying. These lights symbolized the zodiac. Additionally, there was one light in the middle of the circle that represented the divine light, or the 13th part of the constellations that nobody talks about, because there are 13 months, not 12. Whole other conversation that you'll hear more about in the Pyramid Code when you watch the series. Even today, there are spaceships that exist in the shape of pyramids, exactly how I have described them here. By the way, footage has come out of pyramid-shaped UFOs, UAPs, flying. And it does cite that spaceships exist in many shapes and styles, such as pyramids, cylinders, saucers, flying triangles, and many other different shapes. There are motherships that look like massive industrialized cities that just hover in space waiting for incoming and outgoing flights. The size of each is unimaginable. Motherships usually hover in space without motion. They rarely move, hover, and fly to different geographical locations. Every pyramid stores worldly power and divine energy eternally, due to the way the pyramid was constructed by the Fatasol, which is what they call the pharaohs at that time. Every pyramid was built in different sizes, but every wall is always at a 51-degree angle, with a precise angle relative to the sun. Each pyramid is also connected to the 12 star systems in our zodiac. As I said earlier, every pyramid today is facing north, towards the North Star, and that's accurate. That's what research shows. The original pyramids were built by divine energetic powers, but have been preserved throughout the years by the alien energy, extraterrestrial energy, what they call Fatasol, which are who the pharaohs were, through electromagnetic pulsation and electromagnetic laser pulsation. The pyramid personifies the reality of the divine energy embodying itself in the material world. This divine energy resides in every one of its creations, as well as all of the creations of other beings. The four walls of the pyramid personify, signify, and symbolize the divine revelation multiplied by 4. Now, that's a mouthful, and there's a lot that I can share. I'm not going to share all of it here. You guys can read the document yourselves. But one of the things that I want to bring up over here, which is really interesting, is the numerology behind the pyramid itself. And this is why the number 18 is so important. According to the document, some people are going to hear this number and say that's satanic, but no, it was weaponized and called satanic. And I'm talking about the number 666. We've turned the number 666 into something evil. It's not. 666 equals 18, which represents life in even the language that the pharaohs used. 13 represents love in even the language the pharaohs used, and 13 is known to be a very unlucky number, at least in the United States. These things have been inverted to keep us away from the very powers that have the ability to make our world a better place. Now, when it comes to the mysticism of the pyramid, hidden mysticism on page 31. Today, the mysticism is hidden, but the day will come when the mysticism will be revealed and transparent. It will no longer be hidden. The pyramid basically embodies everything that was, is, and will be. The pyramid is the connection created by man between the physical and the spiritual. Other than the stone, which is visible to the eye, a pyramid is composed of the following base components. Pay attention to the numbers and then ask yourself why it's 648 meters exactly below the surface. 18 laser lights symbolizing life, which is represented by the number 18 in Hebrew and Aramaic, which is a language used at the time, and the divine energy. In Gematria, which is an alphanumeric code of assigning a numeric value to a word based on its letters, the word life, translated from Hebrew, is equal to the numerical value of 18. 10 internal and external surfaces symbolizing divine, physical, and spiritual giving. The word 10 in Hebrew means to give and also represents wealth between the creation and the creator. The numerical value of 10 always represents 1 because in Gematria, 10, which is 1 plus 0, equals 1. 1 symbolizes oneness or all that is interconnected, everything. 8 lines connecting the vertices through which energies flow infinitely between the base and the vertex. The number 8 symbolizes infinity even in its shape. Now, before we go to the rest of this over here, I want you guys to see this. When it comes to 18 laser lights, that's up top, which is 1, coming out of each vertex on the base, which is another 4, and 13 on the bottom. 1 plus 4 plus 13 gives you your 18 lights. 10 surfaces, how do we get there? Well, you have 4 walls and a base. 4 walls and a base equals 5. There's 5 on the exterior and 5 interior walls. That gives you 10 surfaces. 8 lines, if you count the lines that make up the shape of the pyramid, you have 4 at the base and 4 that make up each wall. 4 plus 4 is 8. Now it keeps going. 5 vertices, including the apex at the top of the pyramid, which represents the divine. The numerical value of 5 represents the letter He in Hebrew or Aramaic, which symbolizes the divine God. It's a connection that is connected to one owns being. So the divine connection that is connected to one owns being. 4 vertices at the spiritual base, which represents the 4 winds that always point towards north, south, east, and west. And it continues on by saying the zodiac is an integral part of the earth and the pyramids. Without the energetic radiance of the zodiac signs or constellations, the earth and the pyramids would never survive. The constellations of the zodiac surround earth and are fixed in space. The zodiac constantly emits 12 different energies from its 12 different fixed constellations in the direction of earth. However, it really is 13 because of the one in the middle as well. I had that conversation with Ray in the series that you can watch. Within the confines of each of the 12 constellations of the zodiac exist 12 stars that are not visible to those who are not currently within what they call fifth dimension or higher, the upper levels of fifth dimensional awareness, which is simply a brainwave frequency called gamma in your waking state and not just when you're asleep. The 12 stars within the confines of each constellation each spin on their own axis. Additionally, the 12 stars within the confines of each constellation all revolve around the center of each constellation as a unit. This means that there are 144 stars within the confines of the constellations in the zodiac that are not visible to the naked eye. These stars will only become visible to us when we reach the upper limits of the fifth dimension or higher, which is gamma. Earth's origin of creation is a direct result of these different energies radiating from the constellations of the zodiac in a circular, counterclockwise motion around the Earth. This resulted in the formation of the physical world. Earth grew into what we know it to be today via an intimate connection with the sun and the solar energy emanating from the zodiac. This eventually turned Earth into a satellite of the sun. And today, the Earth is an integral part of the sun and the stars. They all work hand in hand. If one thing falls, everything goes bust. The Earth is a physical creation that was created through the use of energy, of the energies of the stars, planets, and the sun. The zodiac is made up of those constellations. Each constellation is symbolized by an animal, inanimate object, or soul. Each of these symbolize the spirit, based on four fundamental points, which are the four divine energies of the heavens and a divine being. These four fundamental points are, number one, the lion, symbolizing the divine surface, fire. Number two, the eagle, or scorpion, according to today's astrologers, symbolizing the divine surface, wind. Number three, the bull, symbolizing the divine surface, earth. And number four, Aquarius, symbolizing the divine surface, water. As I stated earlier, each divine surface is a triangle with three vertices. Being that each pyramid has four walls, when the number of vertices of each divine surface is multiplied by the number of walls on the pyramid structure, we get the number 12. This represents the base 12 different constellations within the zodiac, not including the 13th in the middle. Each constellation in the zodiac has its own uniqueness. For example, Aries represents libido and the force of the spring season. Virgo represents the mother of nature. There are many more examples, but I will not get into astrology right now. I'm sure all of this may be quite difficult to understand, especially since I cannot reveal the code that would explain and clarify the connection between the physical and the spiritual, between the pyramid and the zodiac, between the creations and the creator. Now let's talk about the code. And for those of you who are watching, do you think I'm crazy yet? I'm sure you do. I don't judge you if you do. But the reason why I share this with so much conviction is because I know this to be true, because I feel this to be true, and because it makes sense when you understand the science behind everything that was shared. It's not that it's not scientific. It's that we don't understand the science because we were never taught this science. But back in the day of the pharaohs, 4,000 years ago, they were taught ast sciences, which is astrological sciences, as one of their forms of initiation in something called the Baraka process, which is what every pharaoh and their offspring had to go through in order to hold such a level of authority in that world. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. When it comes to the code itself, a lot of you are asking, what is the code? How do we learn it? Now, I don't know the code that's embedded within this document in the Hebrew version itself, but I could tell you where you can find it. And it's right here, page 34. On the English, it's in the Hebrew only that the codes were actually embedded. This is just a translation. This part specifically, all of this, everything that you're seeing, is written in its own lines over and over again, sometimes spelt wrong because there's a code embedded in this purposely in the Hebrew language. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to read it to you in English. Every pyramid receives, provides, absorbs, transmits, and stores EMP and EMLP, electromagnetic laser pulsation. Every pyramid moves through the use of magnets in its base, the energy of the sun, and the power of thought of its operators. Every pyramid, regardless of its size or location, can fly to any distance, regardless of space or time. Every pyramid is built of stone, rock, that symbolizes the divine surface, the earth. Every pyramid is built and set at a specific angle, 51 degrees towards the zodiac, the sun, and the northern star. Every pyramid contains 18 laser lights that symbolize divine energy and the divine light, with one always at the apex and the rest at the base. Every pyramid and its divine surfaces are facing and are connected to the heavenly winds in their directions of north, south, east, and west. Every pyramid is an independent spaceship, and some also have served as motherships. Every pyramid has a massive basement underneath it containing its tools, instruments, machines, and spaceships. And we know that to be true in terms of the basement underneath. They just haven't gone there to see what's in there. Every pyramid has hidden rooms and tunnels within it, especially underneath it. That was an emphasis. Every pyramid contains its history and documentation using the Hebrew alphabet on its inner walls in the secret rooms that were engraved using laser technology. The engravings reveal the purpose of the pyramids, the pyramid code, and the code that activates it. Every pyramid can also shrink by moving the stones and rocks at its base into the pyramid itself. Every pyramid is independent without relying on one another. However, all are connected to the eternal light. Pyramids also exist as structures on other planets in the universe, and they operate with the same foundation like the ones on Earth, only with different levels of gravity, which varies from planet to planet. Only on planet Earth do the pyramids turn into a tourist destination that is desolate and boring. Every pyramid can manipulate natural forces such as gravity in any way its operator desires. And the last part, before giving my own spiel on this, on why certain things are being hidden from us, has to do with something called the power of thought, which is something that most people don't yet understand, but it's something that is very real, and it's something that I'll actually prove to you in just a moment. Now, the point of the power of thought is also closer to the end of the Pyramid Code document, and it says the following. The only thing in the entire universe that is faster than the speed of light and the speed of sound is thought. Human extraterrestrials and human beings that operate spaceships, pyramids, activate their crafts through thought, combined with the energy of the body. For example, the operator of a spaceship uses his hands to project his internal spiritual energy in order to propel a physical machine through the use of his thought. The main factor in the incomprehensible speed of these UAPs today and in more ancient times is the power of thought. It is important to note that the Fata Soul, or the name of the race back then in ancient times, thought on a much higher vibration and therefore, and still, are capable of performing physical acts that appear supernatural to us according to our limited understanding and awareness. So where does that bring us to now? And how do we prove the power of thought? Well, what if I told you that without even touching something, you're able to move it? That's the power of thought in action. Everybody is probably like, what the hell are you talking about? How do we know that that's true? And I'm going to give you a funny example, but it's true. How does a man get an erection? He thinks about something, and lo and behold, something starts moving. And people are going to say, yeah, well, that's connected and it's the brain sending a signal. Yes, it is the brain sending a signal. Those signals signal something and something happens. Signals don't have to move through the body. Signals can move through air too. Signals can move without physically touching something, because this space that we call empty space is a medium for energy as well. Now, it's a funny example, but it's true. Yeah, the man can see something. The man can think of something. Woman is no different. Something happens down there too when she thinks about something. That's the power of thought in action in your everyday life. Think about that. It's a fact. It's how it works. It's not some woo-woo crazy stuff. It's just learning to think about things in a little bit of a different way. Now, where does all of this kind of put us with the pyramids? The pyramids are not just physical structures. There is mysticism behind them. There's a lot of lost knowledge and forgotten knowledge. Not all of the knowledge is lost, but it's been hidden from us. And the reason why it's been hidden from us is because imagine we knew all of what I just shared to be a fact of 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. Well, guess what? That means that all of our history books are wrong. That means that we are not more advanced today than we were back then. And that means that we could become a whole lot more empowered. And guess who doesn't want that to happen? The same people that charge you for energy, the same people who charge you for water, the same people who charge you for things that are your birthright, things that are part of energy and nature in and of itself inherently. So we need to start looking beyond that. We need to start educating ourselves. We need to stop being deceived by these people. And the only reason why we're able to be deceived is because we lack awareness. We lack awareness in many cases, not because knowledge is hidden, but because even when knowledge is shared, we resist it because it's too far out for us to comprehend. Well, start comprehending it. Because the moment we can start thinking in different ways, we can start processing information in different ways, the world changes. The few will not be able to control the many anymore. Awareness is how we change that. Universal awareness is how we change that. And that's what we need today now more than ever. So I ask you all, beyond just the pyramids and what's going on over there, because there's a lot that we don't know, and there's a lot that will be shared. And mark my words, you will see that a lot, if not everything, that can be proven, will be proven to corroborate the Pyramid Code document and the series as a whole that's on Unified TV. So you don't have to accept it as a truth. I'm not asking you to do that, but consider it. Consider it and see where it takes you, because ultimately the call to action is use your own discernment, think for yourself. Here's some information that can empower you. Now, what the hell are you going to choose to do with it? And that's up to you and your own free will. It's the biggest fact out there that there is. You are your own creator, and only you can decide what to do and how to do it, and what you do when more information comes to the surface. You can resist it, or you don't have to accept it, but you can definitely consider it. This is why it's not just about the physical aspect of the pyramids. It's about the healing modality of the pyramids themselves. People go to them today and experience incredible healing aspects to it, not just because of some physical structure, but because of the awareness behind that physical structure and how energy moves. That's why we created the light system pyramid, beyond the proprietary software that's actually being pushed out of those screens and emanating from those screens. The structure itself is extremely important when it comes to understanding what the benefits are when energy moves in a specific way. So with these specific aspects of the technology, you'll be able to see even more occur than the past with new designs in this way, which looks exactly like this. It's an amazing, amazing technology, also because of its structure. These are the exact and direct proportions of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And it was designed that way because of the healing modalities of the structure itself, beyond the proprietary code that is being emanated and transmitted through those screens, which all you have to do is sit in front of. It's all inspired by everything that we spoke about here today. You can learn more about that specifically on the lightsystems.com. It's an incredible, incredible technology that many people are experiencing incredible benefits from. The lightsystems.com. There's a link in the description below. You can read all about it. You can learn more about it. You could see what it has to offer you. You could see the different models as well, from the pyramid to the 12, 24, and 32 unit system. Understand the differences between them. Understand how it works, because beyond everything, we want to explain to people and educate people on how it works. Beyond that, if you want to experience some of the world's leading technologies around the world, go to unifiedhealing.com. There will be a link in the description below as well. Unifiedhealing.com, spelled right like this. You'll be able to find a center near you. They have multiple different modalities there all around the world. Every center has something unique, a unique modality there. We represent the world's leading energy-based technologies in light of everything that we spoke about. So go to unifiedhealing.com to find a center near you. Go to the lightsystems.com to learn more about this specific technology and learn about how it works as well. It really is some amazing stuff. I will close with showing you guys that teaser one more time on the Pyramid Code Part 4 in this case, so you guys can go and watch it on Unified TV.
This technology made pyramids levitate and fly. Today, it's a hidden secret. Very few evil people have it, and they can do a lot of damage with it. It's basically EMP. But I believe all this information we're talking about, everything we're speaking about, ETs, planets, this information will come out to the masses. But something needs to happen first in this world. But this information will come out. I have a feeling chaos is about to come down, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. Understanding what I wrote in Rays of Light, some of the information there can help you deal with what's coming. You'll have a better understanding of where it's coming from. The codes that were built into Rays of Light can give you the secrets of creation, history of creation, power of creation, history, real history, not the one they're teaching you in school. Real history of the universe, not only planet Earth. It will teach you about frequency, vibrational energy, dimensions, fields of dimensions. We can sit here for thousands of years and discuss it.
The Pyramid Code Part 4, but also Part 1, 2, and 3. Make sure to check it out. It is absolutely phenomenal. Ray is the man behind the actual document itself. I look forward to sharing another interview, by the way, coming out with him in the very near future on Unified TV. It is extremely, extremely powerful, and I look forward to sharing it with each and every one of you. So again, the lightsystems.com link in the description below to learn more about the technology, jasonshirka.com to download the document itself of the Pyramid Code for free in 10 different languages, including the audiobooks for free, unified.tv to watch the Pyramid Code series, and unifiedhealing.com. Please go there, find a center near you, go and experience it for yourself. Some of the world's leading technologies that you can now experience in an affordable and accessible way. I want to say thank you guys very, very much for being here. I love you all immensely. Abba, just like I started, I'm going to end with you. I know you're watching. I love you. I will forever, ever, forever work to fulfill your legacy and the honor that you brought to this planet, because if there's one thing about him, he was a man of honor and respect beyond anything else. Forget contracts, forget anything like that. Honor and respect came first. The power of your word is the most important thing. If you don't have honor and respect, you have nothing. And that's one of the most important things he's ever taught me. I love you guys immensely. Thank you all very much for being here. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. Make sure to join me on Telegram. And make sure to check out the Light System and a Unified Healing Center near you. I love you all. God bless you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. Thank you very much.